Before I conclude, the brother in charge of Invite to Islam, a dear brother I've known and trusted and loved for the sake of Allah for many years, from back when I was released from prison, he asked me to mention something about an organization he's involved with pertaining to a Ramadan food appeal. And it's organized by our brothers, Muslims in need. Many know that I don't like to get involved in fundraisers, even if they're good. In fact, I've declined speaking for nearly all of them, the ones who asked. But there are exceptions, especially when it's a noble task combined with noble, trustworthy brothers who are running it, inshallah. And that's not to diminish others that may be good. I'm not affiliated with this organization. I haven't seen their platforms other than some pictures of the amazing work they do that was presented to me privately from the work they did last year. But I was promised from those I trust that they have 100% donation policy, which means every penny goes to the cause, bi'idhnillah. And I was informed of the great work and character of the dear brothers who are running this amazing appeal. This specific charity is unique in many ways, and let me just give you some examples of that. First of all, it's feeding someone who's hungry, because they travel the globe targeting areas where Muslims are desperately in need. Desperately in need of what? Of food. So they're given food. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned feeding the poor in the Quran. He said, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. They feed the needy, qualities of the believers. They feed and give food to the needy and to the orphan and to the captive, even if they need it or desire it for their own selves. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We give this to you for the sake of Allah. We're not looking for thanks or reward. So why are they giving it? Allah said that they said, إِنَّا نَخَافُ مِنْ رَبِّنَا يَوْمًا عَبُوسًا قَمْطَرِيرًا. We're giving this charity for the sake of Allah so He can save and spare us from the fear on the long, fearful, distressful day. For that simple dollar or pound or 30 pounds or so that you give sincerely for the sake of Allah, the reward, listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, فَوَقَاهُمُ اللَّهُ شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ وَلَقَّاهُمْ نَضْرَةً وَسُرُورًا. Allah will save them and spare them from the horror of that day. And He'll grant them radiance and joy. Isn't that worth the 30 pounds? And even more than that, وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةً وَحَرِيرًا. In Sahih al-Bukhari, a man asked the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, أَيُّ الْإِسْلَامِ خَيْرٌ? What qualities are the best in Islam? أَيُّ الْإِسْلَامِ خَيْرٌ? قال تُطْعِمُ الطَّعَامِ. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, to feed the poor. And there's, of course, many other verses in ahadith that support this. So first of all, you're feeding the hungry and those who are in desperate need. And it's greatly commanded in Islam. Second of all, a second unique quality pertaining to this charity is that you're not feeding any ordinary hungry person, but someone in the ibadah of fasting, along with their families and children. Even though I believe the hadith, the famous hadith, من فطر صائما كان له مثل أجره. That hadith, I believe that hadith, whoever provides food for a fasting person to break his fast, he gets the same reward as the fasting person. In some narration, there's the addition with no reward being diminished from the reward of the fasting person. I believe that hadith to be weak, even though I'm very familiar with the ulama said and some who authenticated. But its meaning is fully, totally, completely accurate and sound, and it's taken from other general ahadith like من دل على خير فله مثل أجر فاعله. Sahih Muslim, one who guides to something good will get reward similar to that of its doer. So you will get, inshallah, the same reward of those fasting. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said, there's even more to it. He said, giving the poor food to eat in Ramadan is among the sunan of Islam. And giving them to eat so that they will not have to be preoccupied in having to look for work or go to work, which will distract them from their ibadah, will attain the person feeding them a similar reward of all their ibadat. So he's saying, not only will you get the reward of the fasting, but all the ibadat they do along with it. Third of all, it's a unique charity because it's in Ramadan. They're fasting in Ramadan and you're given a charity in Ramadan. It's a noble time where the reward for any goodness you do is multiplied. You have your salah, you have your adhkar, recitation of the Quran, and other various ibadat in Ramadan. But charity in Ramadan is an essential ibadah. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was always generous in giving charity. But in Ramadan, his generosity was described like the blowing wind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ها أنتم هؤلاء تدعون لتنفقوا في سبيل الله فمنكم من يبخل ومن يبخل فإنما يبخل عن نفسه والله الغني وأنتم الفقراء. You're invited to donate for the sake of Allah. Some withhold, and that's their loss, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need us. Allah is self-sufficient. You are the ones in need of Him. And like I always say, give in charity, and give in charity for this noble cause as well, because your shrouds will not have pockets to carry your cash when you're buried. Feed as many as you can. Forget about it. Make it a sincere secret between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will be reminded of it when you're spared the horror on the day of distress. Or when the rock of trials blocks the happiness and needs in your life, and the trials overwhelm you, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, referring in your dua to that hungry person or people you fed in Ramadan. And like the bright gleam of dawn, you will see the ease from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward those involved in this project and all those who donate and support it. As the hadith says, 2 angels descend every morning. One says, "Oh Allah, give the one who spends more. Give him more in place of what he spent." And the other one says, "Oh Allah, give destruction to the one who withholds."